When did you first know you wanted to pursue a career in music?
I always knew that I wanted to be a musician. It was so evident to my parents when I started to imitate the music emerging from the TV, wanting to find something that I could play with in order to follow the rhythm and the beat of the music. Asking my grandmother to take me to wherever I would hear sound emerging in the neighborhood, whether it was a rehearsal of a young students' band around me. So it was really all around me. Now, keep in mind that both of my grandparents, fathers in this case, although amateurs, they played musical instruments. One of them was a good player of the German accordion, the other one of the violin. My father as well wanted to become a musician, always being in love with music. So again, I was surrounded by music all these years. Soon I started to play the guitar, the bass and the drum, just to follow rock music. And that was informal education, and then my formal education started when I started to take organ lessons and theory. Later I moved on to a high school devoted to music, where I expanded to play the piano and even started to compose, arrange and conduct for my classmates. So that was the ideal environment to have to be among other musicians who were wanting to be just like me, and provided me the right environment for me to develop to who I am now.
I was fascinated when I was looking at your bio, describing a very diverse experience, everything from composer, arranger, conductor, pianist in the worlds of classical music, film, jazz, and pop charts, pop music. That's not what some would say is typical of a Latino musician, or is it?
Well, I think it is. I think that we need to keep in mind that, first of all, that music is music. Music, whether coming from diverse styles, diverse instruments and voices, is simply the human expression of evoking feelings, emotion, through melody, rhythm, harmony, orchestration and form. So in that respect, the music is quite broad. Now keep in mind that Latin America has also been exposed to many influences, whether we're aware or not, native, European, even Jewish and Middle Eastern through ancient Spain influences, and now of course the American influence. Film music has been part of Latin America. After all, Argentina, Brazil, and Mexico have had already 80 years of a tradition, a very strong film industry from which film composers have emerged. Latin America has produced instrumentalists, composers, arrangers, and classical music has been part of Latin America since the beginning of the European movement toward this region. So for 500 years, there is classical music. We just have to be aware of the diversity that really form us as our character, our persona has been shaped by all those influences. And although, yes, we may have preferences in a specific particular music, whether it's salsa from Puerto Rico or banda from Mexico and so forth, we need to realize that our own heritage is broader and much larger than that. Of course, when we come to the United States, we tend to simplify it so that the other people not exposed to our culture could digest it, could really be more palatable and accessible to them. But we need to realize that we, in essence, Latinos are the mixture of many influences, and those influences are seen. And whether we like Mexican corrido, we need to understand there is much more Mexican music produced for so many years, being boleros, being music for film, talking about the strong film industry in Mexico. And so could be said for Puerto Rico, could be said for Dominican Republic, could be said for Cuba, for other places. So with that said, my only limitation has been no limitation, is of really realizing that there is a broad world out there, and that really has shaped me. That region where I was born is important. Puerto Rico, where is middle of America, part of the United States, and the last European possession of Spain. So we still have ties with Europe, and in which obviously we keep Spanish and English, and it was a renaissance when I was born on the island in terms of technology, education, influences hotel, shows, singers, orchestras that needed musicians. And I was living in that time, and record, film, radio needed music for film, for jingles, for commercials, for records, for singers. And I was so fortunate that when I was 15, I was already doing that. So I think that what is unique is simply that in me you see it all, but those specific areas has been cultivated by many, many others, perhaps individually or by fraction or by pair. But in my case, it's simply that I try to be as broad as possible because I'm curious and I really want to know not only what I see around me, what is immediate, but also what is remote, the better.
Speak to the importance of all the big factors: education, dedication, persistence in pursuing an artist's passion.
Well, I heard that it's been said that success is 5% talent and 95% hard work. And I truly believe on that. I think that nothing really comes at ease. In a time where pop culture is so predominant, and we make believe that the singers that we hear and they record and the actors who are on TV, on film, made it so easily, we have to realize that beyond what we see, there is hard work. I think that persistence, consistency, are very important ingredients to achieve your goals. It is important that you keep looking for further ideas, not what is immediate and what you hear and what your ambitions of your parents and family were, but to look to a wider world. And of course, education for me is essential. Just like the notion of history, I think that we need to understand what we have done in the past in order to understand where we are today, and we could really make a contribution for the future. So education, history, and having that awareness about learning what is immediate but what is really remote is important. And after all, the arts are, whether you are aware or not, are important. You go to your car, you're gonna hear music, you're going to the house, you're gonna see TV films, you're gonna at some point you need to see some illustrations and so forth. Art, it's an essential element in our life. What is important is that if you have that urge of being artistic, you just pursue it. There's places for everyone. There are people who choose to be engineers, lawyers, Well, we have to complete the society by having people who express themselves. Contrary to what everyone else may say, is that's what is your call, that's what is your call. But you need to have the passion and you need to work hard.